Good afternoon, Patriots. It's Scott here from Woke Societies, here to drop another episode of amazing content. We are at war, Patriots, and we are seeing it being carried out in a lot of the major cities in the country right now. How did all these riots happen within 48 hours? Totally organized. Is this the backing of George Soros? Is this Antifa? Are they all? Is it both of them? Is this are these paid provocateurs? Are these really the people in the communities? Are they actually destroying their own communities, or are all these people from outside the states? We're going to look into that. We're going to look into the cop that was arrested and charged with murder for George Floyd, and all the weirdness about all his background, and of course all the latest Q drops and all that good stuff. So if we can, real quick, let's just take a look at my sponsor, and I'll see you guys in 1 second.
Mad Magazine became a sad magazine, and Cracked has croaked. Now Flip City resurrects the comic satire rag in glorious print delivered right to your mailbox. All American and guaranteed PC free. Subscribe by June 8th and get the premiere issue with socialist songs of the 60s and more. Flip City, America's last laugh. Subscribe now and rate us online at flipcitymag.com.
All right, guys, thank you for letting me play that for you. This is that sponsor right here. I have a physical copy of that magazine. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a piece of art. This is a couple in California that makes these magazines. And I tell you what, guys, it is high quality satire comedy. It's clean. Your kids can read it. And it's something that it can be kept on a shelf for a very long time. And if it ever gets brought up again, it's something that'll never lose its taste. It's a piece of history. And I want to explain that to people. And on top of it, it's $20 for a year subscription. It's 4 magazines for the year. So you're literally getting a beautiful piece of history for literally $5 a magazine. Go to Flip City, America's Last Laugh. The link is in the description below. Go there. You're supporting local business and a company that I personally think is awesome and want people to support. Go check it out. Thank you guys for giving me the time to get in that sponsor. So where do I want to begin? So everyone sees all these riots going around. They're all hitting the major cities. New York City was just popping off yesterday, in Brooklyn. And it's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And the media is absolutely fueling all this, and it's disgusting to see. But I want to play this video, guys, of one of the protests that I saw yesterday, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the intro. Take a watch. Oh, look at all those sheep. Look at all those sheep. Soros must have paid for those.
Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal. Grab your flashlight, it's time to go down the rabbit hole. It's dark and hell is hot, dealing with satanic souls. The tide is turning, patriots are now in control. Apply aggressive pressure right now until they fold. Stay woke, open up your eyes and keep them peeled. All they do is lie, realize not everything is real. Through Project Looking Glass, the future is revealed. Future proves past, but there won't be any deals. Woke Society's fam, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow.
All right. Yes, gotta poke some fun, guys. We need a little bit of a laugh. So you saw all the sheep there. This is essentially what they are. All these people a lot of these people, not gonna say all, but a lot of these people, which I'm about to show all of you, a lot of these people that are protesting and rioting they're not even from the states that they're even rioting from. They're just there to cause havoc, destroy businesses, and infiltrate and burn shit down. This is what they're doing. But where I want to begin here, guys, is from Breaking 911. This was CNN headquarters in Atlanta being destroyed. Massive police presence. Now, I have mixed feelings about this because I hate the mainstream media just as much as anybody. I am not advocating violence. Will never advocate violence on this channel. But seeing this crowd here in Atlanta go after CNN, to me, this is a symbolism of the times that are changing. Now, these people here, a lot of these people, they could just be here to joining the chaos, essentially, right? And the fact that I like it is because it's CNN. It's one of the biggest fake news media outlets in the country, and they're absolutely destroying it. Let's just take a watch here. So you see a nice F-bomb on CNN there. But the thing is, a lot of these people, I'm not sure. I don't even know why they decided to target CNN. We're seeing more of the reporters on the street now in a lot of these cities. They are being attacked, which isn't good. But at the same time, I don't, as long as no one's getting hurt or killed, I don't care if they're getting, if these mainstream media outlets are getting attacked. I don't care. They are the ones that have caused so many problems in this country for decades. And they're finally getting just a taste of how pissed off people are. Now, the people here at CNN, again, I can't speak for all of them. A lot of them probably are just joining the chaos. They're just there to cause havoc. Who knows? But you know what? Seeing CNN and some of these media outlets finally feeling the heat from the people that have just controlled our minds for so long, I love to see it. And you know what? As long as no one's getting hurt, that's all I care about. But this was an inside view of the CNN headquarters as well, which was absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at this.
You all right?
You have some people are laughing, some people are videotaping.
I just threw something on fire, Chris, a firecracker.
Yep.
Something's on fire. Shit.
Nick, you all right?
You okay? You okay? You okay, guys? You all right? Is everyone okay?
Now, as far as I know, no one got hurt in this situation. It was a firecracker. Again, I'm not advocating violence here, but I'm just showing you guys it's just a view of how fed up people are getting. You have this COVID-19 happening, and all of a sudden that whole narrative starts to break down just a little bit. It starts to go in the rear view mirror, and all of a sudden we have a race war. And people have been pent up, people are tired, and people are pissed off. So I could understand some of these people for coming out here and just, going ham, but most of this is fueled and for the wrong reasons. And you know what? Yesterday, CNN, just not a good couple of days for CNN. This guy was arrested. His name is Omar Jimenez. He's a CNN reporter. And this whole entire thing just looked completely staged. There is literally no one around him. There is a line of police officers, and the police officers arrested him. And they're saying Omar's saying that they were listening to the police. They moved, and they still arrested him anyways. And just pointing out, he is black, and they made sure to get this on camera. And CNN went off, and they rode this for as long as they could. And some disgusting articles and tweets came out about this yesterday. Let's just take a watch here.
At the fire department, or with the fire department, I should say, on that building we showed you that was burning. This is among the State Patrol unit that was advancing up the street, saying and scattering the protesters at that point for people to clear the area. And so we walked away. I'm sorry?
You're under arrest.
Okay. Do you mind telling me why I'm under arrest, sir? Why am I under arrest, sir?
Officers with CNN, and he's on the air right now. Okay.
So this happened, right? You have these police here, and it's just weird because this is why I brought it up. X22 report said this. Think logically. Does the mainstream media have press passes? Do they present them to authorities? Was this staged to pour gas in the flame? Deep state mainstream media deploying all assets. And it's a 3-minute video of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's a waste of time. The whole thing looked staged. There's literally nobody around. They said they were arrested because they weren't complying, and it just seemed just too easy. And of course, the reporter's black, so they're going to go. CNN's just going to carry on the narrative that police are they're just arresting black people, showing they're being racist and all this stuff. The narrative that everyone's pushing, and they're just carrying it out. And it wasn't just CNN. This was also disgusting by MSNBC. This guy literally is sitting here, and this is what he's saying. I just want to be clear on how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. Meanwhile, there are burning buildings going around. There's literally burning buildings behind him, and this reporter is saying, I want to be clear, this is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly. And it says this guy is literally standing in front of a burning building in the middle of a riot, and that's from Caleb Hull. Let's just watch what he's saying here.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly, but fires have been started. And
to me, the picture of this just says 1,000 words. It really does. You're literally having a man here telling us everything's fine, it's all good. Meanwhile, the world around us is burning down and everything's good. It's mostly peaceful protesting, not anything really to see here. It's just laughable. It's laughable. But this is why I don't feel bad, guys. When these people are being called out and their buildings are being destroyed. I'm talking about CNN, not businesses. CNN is a business, but you guys get the point. I don't feel bad. Decades of programming and lying. You're gonna have some of it come back at you at some point, and right now it seems to be the time that it's happening. But things get crazier though. This is from Candace Owens. This is a tweet, and she said the Minneapolis chief of police just confirmed that many of the protesters that are burning down the city are not from Minneapolis. My guess, as he did with Antifa, Democrat George Soros has these thugs on payroll. He is funding the chaos via his Open Society Foundation. And yes, I did also say the word thugs, just like our president did, that Twitter wanted to take down and censor. That's exactly what they are. They are thugs. They are criminals. They are not here to help. They are here to destroy, steal, and destroy people's lives and burn buildings down and destroy property. They are thugs. But you see here, most of the people that they found that they did arrest were from outside of the state. And she said, is he funding the chaos via his Open Society Foundation, talking about George Soros? And that's what we're going to get into in just a moment. But this was a video clip here that I was able to snag here from Jordan Sather through CBS. And the same thing. Look what the mayor here has to say about the protesters.
In St. Paul last night, and across our twin cities, a curfew went into effect. Because we had a relative stillness in St. Paul, we didn't make an enormous number of arrests, but every single person we arrested last night, I'm told, was from out of state.
Now, why would that be? Why are we seeing this theme here where these riots began? This was Minnesota here. Why is that happening? How are they all out of state? Someone reconcile that. You would think people that are upset in the city that are being arrested are actually from that city. But most of them are not. So what is going on here? Well, a lot of us, including myself, think it's Antifa. And sure enough, Q did drop about Antifa today plenty of times and all that good stuff. We're going to get into that. But I want you guys to see here a take here from Antone Tucker talking about Antifa being the terrorist group that it is and how it's all homegrown and they're right in our backyard. Take a watch.
It's been reported by law enforcement that individuals arrested in New York, D.C., Minnesota, California, and other places, that the majority of these people being arrested are not actually from the areas in which they're protesting from. It's clear that Antifa is infiltrating black suffering yet again and going in and destroying black communities yet again for George Soros. All of these people had to bus in from different locations, so finding out who these individuals are, it shouldn't be that hard. We can contact bus and train services and find out. Most importantly, at this particular point in time, what we need to do is designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist group. You've watched as they attack Black Lives Matter even. And now the whole country is burning because deep state operatives and Antifa as well are outside burning our country down. And the news will then take it and blame it on black folks like we're responsible for it, when there are countless videos out there with blacks saying we are not destroying our neighborhoods and cleaning it up.
We are not destroying our own neighborhoods. We're actually trying to clean it up. So who's destroying these neighborhoods? We all believe it's George Soros. And if you see how many businesses he is a part of, it's actually easier to see what businesses he doesn't have stock in compared to what he does have. That's how much he has. He controls so much. And that's why you started hearing all these theories about him being the owner of AutoZone and Target, which he is not. He owns a lot of stock in those companies, but he does not own them. But again, why do we keep hearing these talks of George Soros and Antifa? And the people that live in these communities themselves are saying the people that are destroying our city they're not from here. We don't know who they are. That should be a wake-up call. And guess what? He tweeted that video out and tagged Trump in it, and we got a response from Trump today. Look at what he said, and this is why I want everyone to take a chill pill, take a deep breath, and relax. He said right here in this tweet, this is from today, 11:54 a.m., it's Antifa. That's in all caps. And have you noticed, he talks in a lot of all caps, but he's putting Obamagate in all caps. Now we have Antifa and the radical left. Don't lay the blame on others. He is trying to keep cooler heads to prevail on all this. He is simply pointing out, do not blame the people in the community. Stop blaming all the white people. It's not that. This is a media-fueled war going on right now, and all assets are deployed just like Hugh said they were going to be. All assets deployed, and what do we see? We are seeing riots within 2 days organized in a lot of the major cities in 2 days. And a lot of them aren't even from the states that are happening where all these riots are coming from. So who's paying for all that? How are they getting there? What are the logistics of this? There has to be an operation carried out. And that's exactly what's going on. And all the weird stuff that we're seeing here, some of this stuff doesn't have sauce, but I'm going to point it out and show you guys anyway so you guys can think for yourselves and make your own decisions. These are some pictures here of one of the men here that's saying that they were a protester. This was one of the people that was walking around the crowbar just smashing windows. Clearly, if you're protesting, why are you smashing windows? You're just causing more problems. And we saw this. This is another picture here. We've seen people here with these earbuds. Now, not going to make a big deal of this because I went online as well. You can go right online and anybody can buy one of these earbuds. But when you see this, you think of like Secret Service, you think of FBI, you think of, law enforcement officials having earbuds like this. But who are they talking to? Who are they communicating with? You're just seeing all these pictures come up. And this is a picture here. Phone numbers on arms. Again, this could be anything, but still, what is this? And this guy here, I'm going to show you, he's got a pallet of bricks behind him. This was interesting, and I'm going to show you this. This is from John Q. Public. It says, piles of bricks conveniently stacked in front of multiple buildings. Deep State Soros bankrolled agent provocateurs. Watch this video.
They put them
This the setup.
They put them there on purpose,
Y'all know where we at.
They gonna set them hoes right up on the rail.
Y'all know what building this is right here. I ain't even gonna say what name it is.
Hey, where do them bricks go to? Where do them bricks go to? Where do them bricks
We gotta do better.
Ain't no damn construction.
Gotta do better.
Ain't no damn construction around here.
I see.
Ain't no damn construction around here. You just gonna set a pallet of bricks right there. Oh, okay.
Listen, I did jury duty 3 months ago. Y'all don't keep no bricks right there. Do better.
So you're seeing what they're saying. This is someone I believe lives in the city. You could tell by the woman. She said, I just did jury duty here. Where did these piles and pallets of bricks come from? And they're just sitting in front of buildings in perfect piles. Who dropped them off? Where do they come from? The stores obviously are open right now while all this is going on in the cities. Where is this coming from? There's no construction going on. So you have piles and pallets of bricks set up on different streets in front of different buildings. Someone please reconcile that and tell me that there's not anything going on. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So this is what we're coming across. And, I hope it brings some solace to people, what I'm about to show people, because show you guys, the cop that killed George Floyd, he's been arrested and he's been charged. I think he got charged for 3rd-degree murder and manslaughter. And he is waiting to possibly be brought up on other charges. So his name's Derek Chauvin. He was arrested, and the other police officers, I think, are currently being investigated to see what their punishment is going to be for witnessing what he did and all that terrible stuff. And again, I just want to point out, I have yet to meet one person, even a tweet or Facebook, anything, one person saying that this man here was justified in killing George Floyd at all, and the way he did it was terrible. I have not seen one person say they are on this cop's side, and that's including white people as well. I don't know where this division came from. I understand there's a history with African Americans and black people with police. I totally understand it, but I'm just saying from my point of view, I have not seen, everyone is on George Floyd's side. So where is this division coming from? It's coming from the media, and it just gets weirder from here. It just gets really weird. These are the neighbors of Derek Chauvin, the cop that killed George Floyd. They said they had no idea this man was even a cop. Let's take a watch here because this is really strange.
Where who is? Why, are you worried?
Yes.
What do you got to be worried about?
No, I'm more just curious.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Did
you
know
the Chauvins?
No.
You know what? We didn't. We didn't know he was a cop.
Friends? I'm from the Daily Mail.
We didn't know he was a cop.
Were they friends with anyone?
Oh, we were just talking about it this morning.
No,
this afternoon.
What do you guys think about what happened?
It's terrible.
You guys don't agree with him? Okay.
No.
Thank
Who
you.
would agree with that?
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
My own
amazing.
neighbor don't like him.
That's
Nobody
sad.
here does.
Nobody likes him?
That's what we just discussed this afternoon.
Nobody here in this neighborhood likes him.
Who
So,
said that?
did they stay like to themselves? Is that why? Oh.
Who said nobody likes him? Which neighbor? So you talk to him? Why did they like him?
No one I shouldn't say we didn't like
Right,
him.
you just didn't know him. Yeah.
The wife is very
Very nice. I think they have adult kids. They don't. No, just these people.
So you just get this feeling, right? Because this talks about, it just reminds you of the Sandy Hook shooting with, the CIA and all the houses that were owned there. And it kind of reminds me of this when the neighbors are saying, we didn't really know them. They kept to themselves. We didn't even know he was a cop. We didn't know anything about him. And they're saying a lot of the neighbors didn't like him either. And you could clearly see, did you guys support what he did? And you saw the reactions. Of course not. Of course not. Who would support that? And that is a real reaction. I believe that is the pulse of what our country, this is what's going on. There's a small group of people that probably are behind this cop, but it's a tiny minority. Well, and again, this is just my personal experience. I have not come across anybody that said anything that they support this cop. So it gets weirder. This is from Justin Miller. The medical examiner said they found no physical findings that support a diagnosis of traumatic asphyxia or strangulation in George Floyd's death. It says the full report of the ME is pending, but the ME has made the following preliminary findings. The autopsy revealed no physical findings that support a diagnosis of traumatic asphyxia or strangulation. Mr. Floyd had underlying health conditions, including coronary artery disease and hypertensive heart disease. The combined effects of Mr. Floyd being restrained by the police, his underlying health conditions, and any potential intoxicants in his system likely whoa, that just came across here. Intoxicants? What the heck is that? In his system likely contributed to his death. So everyone saw how he was screaming he couldn't breathe. That explanation to show you no way justifies anything, but it's just strange. It's just weird because the story that we were given was that he was yelling he couldn't breathe. Obviously, you could tell the cop had no justification for having his knee on the man's neck for over 8 minutes, obviously. But it's just all these details are coming out, and it just gets weirder and weirder. And I just want to bring this tweet up here from Defined Projection. This perfectly explains what is going on now. This is when a dying political party, as far as the Democrats, recruits and deploys an army of ragtag paid insurgents to viciously attack, destroy, and plunder innocent local communities, hoping to weaken Trump with social collapse. Democrats have launched a hot war against America, and that's exactly what's happening. This is exactly what's happening. And just one other thing about that, the cop and George Floyd. There was articles coming out that these two guys actually worked in a club together. Not like side by side, but they worked either like bouncers or some kind of security force, but they actually worked together for a club, and they did know each other at some point, which is so weird. And the other thing I wanted to point out too, I don't have the video for, but when you see the ambulance pull up, when they picked up George Floyd, you don't see any EMTs come out of the ambulance. They're all cops. And it's just, some of them are in different uniforms, and you don't see EMTs come out of the ambulance. You see cops literally pull up, take him out, and he goes in the ambulance, and then he's gone. The whole thing is just absolutely bizarre. So I would love to know what you guys think. What do you guys think of what's going on with these riots? Do you think they're being planned? Do you think Soros has his hands all over this? I obviously think he does. And what's going to happen with Antifa? We're going to get that in just a moment. I want to show you guys, just transition here to one piece of news that came from the press conference from Trump, just to get everybody caught up if they didn't see it. I was personally waiting for this press conference to start at 2. It didn't start till like 2:45. They had the press there waiting patiently for him to come out. He comes out. He does like a 10-minute speech. He's talking about the WHO and Hong Kong, and then he just dips. Totally leaves the reporters sitting there. Couldn't ask any questions. And they're like, okay, well, I guess that's it. Absolute troll move by Trump. Bravo. Love it. But let's just hear what he has to say about the World Health Organization.
Because they have failed to make the requested and greatly needed reforms, we will be today terminating our relationship with the World Health Organization and redirecting those funds to other worldwide and deserving urgent global public health needs.
So you heard it right there. He had about a 10-minute speech because of whose obvious relationship with China and just lack of, I don't know what you would call it, lack of action, I guess, letting the world know that, you know, there's a virus coming and didn't do anything about it and delayed because China was pressuring you to. There was delays on the funding to WHO, and now we are completely cut off, and it's like, I don't even know what it was, $450 million that the U.S. was contributing to the WHO, and now Trump's like, not anymore, we're done. Those funds will go to other things. We are done with the WHO, and I have to applaud him. We do not need to be part of these world organizations, anything globalist, we do not need to be a part of it. We can all be our own separate countries, all helping each other build for the greater good of humankind. It's really, to me, not that hard. So transitioning to other news of yesterday that I want to get to, let's talk about Ratcliffe and the declass that was given to us yesterday about the phone transcripts between Kislyac and General Flynn. So first we got this little note. It says, as I stated throughout, this is John Ratcliffe talking, the new director of national intelligence, as I stated throughout the confirmation process, transparency is vital to allowing the American people to have confidence in the intelligence community. As the director of national intelligence, it is my obligation to review declassification requests with the overarching priority of protecting sources and methods while also providing transparency whenever possible. Accordingly, today, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence declassified transcripts concerning Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. And we got them. We got them. Now, this was a 27-page document, and I went through it myself, me and a bunch of the other Anons and some of my friends. We went and tried to decode this entire thing. A lot of it is just basic talk. Now, remember, what I'm about to show you, this was the kickoff for the entire Russian investigation, the whole entire hoax. Obama and his team were saying that Flynn was going out of line and working with Russians and being corrupt and all this other shit that they were trying to shovel to us, right? Well, I can tell you right now, I read through all 27 pages, and from what I'm seeing here, in the transcripts, Flynn has got a lot of uhs, yeah, and a lot of stuttering, not a lot of clear, concise sentences. And it's weird because you're reading the transcripts. I'm sure hearing the phone call would be completely different. But to me, the vibe that I got about all of it was that he knew he was being listened to and they were actually acting in a way. And so was Kislyak. And they were, because remember, Trump already knew he was being spied on in the Trump Towers. He already knew that. Michael Rogers was the one, I believe, that told him, that gave him the tip, because obviously Comey wasn't helping him out. Michael Rogers is the one that gave him the tip on that, and they got all the bugs out of the tower, they moved their operation, and now here we are. So what I'm saying is, with the timeline of all that, I believe Trump team and Q team, they already knew they were being spied on. So with these transcripts, I believe them talking to Kislyak was the bait and hook, and they knew ahead of time that the Obama team was going to use this to try to destroy Flynn and destroy Trump. But Q team already knew ahead of time that at some point this stuff was going to be declassified, and when it does, it's game over. So I want to show you guys just some of the highlighted points here of why this is so important and why these documents are so important. So Flynn here was talking to Kislyak, and then we have it highlighted here. It says, we don't need to, he's talking to Kislyak, we don't need that right now. We need cool heads to prevail, and we need to be very steady and about what we're doing to do, because we have absolutely a common threat in the Middle East right now. And Flynn said, we have to eliminate this common threat. And Kislyak said, we agree. Now, what are they talking about? This common enemy at this point was ISIS. It was ISIS. And we all know how Obama sent a whole shit ton of money and pallets to Iran, all these shady deals going on. And we know how Obama has ties to how ISIS grew, and we've seen the videos of all that stuff where they're talking about training camps for these people. Terrible, terrible stuff. And Flynn knew about this. Flynn knew everything going on with Obama, and that's why Obama knew Flynn was a threat and had to silence him. That's what was attempted here. But what was going on between Flynn and Kislyak and the Russians here, Flynn was being diplomatic. The entire conversation, the 27 pages, there was no collusion going on for political rivals. They were trying to get Russia, because right when Obama was in office, they did not have a good relationship with Russia at all. At all. So when Trump took over and they had that transition of power, Flynn was going in saying, we need cooler heads to prevail. We want to work with you guys. We want you to work with us. Me and you both have a common enemy with ISIS. Let's work together. Let's get rid of this common threat. And that was the majority of the conversation. And that's why I'm not going to show you all 27 pages, but this was page 6 here. The one other thing that I found super, super interesting in these transcripts. So this was a voice message left on General Flynn's voicemail. This is from Shershenev Dmitry, another ambassador from Russia. He left a message for Flynn. I want you guys to see this. It says there's an open line, barely audible chat. So someone asked Chernyshov, which agency are we talking about? Chernyshov asked as to confirm if he understands the question and responds in the same time. Which agency hackers did the hacking? Believe me, Americans did hack this all. After General Flynn's pre-recorded message ends, Chernyshov leaves this message, says, hello, General Flynn, my name is Dmitry. I am chief of the Russian ambassador staff. The Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, would like to have a word with you at your convenience. Can you kindly call us back? Blah, blah, blah. Thank you. Goodbye. But what I want to point out, they're talking in the background and they're saying, which agency hackers did the hacking? Believe me, Americans hacked this all. What are they talking about? What I believe they're talking about, guys, is the DNC, the supposed DNC hacks, right, that Russia did? No. Seth Rich had those. Seth Rich got them. They knew what was going on, and he gave them to Assange. Julian Assange. And when they're talking about who did the hacking, someone in our country, Americans, we did it ourselves, and it's going to come out. It's going to come out that the Democrats were all part of this. It was their scheme the entire time. Super, super important to see that. Again, I only found these 2 pages out of the 27 that really needed to be shown to you guys. Wanted to show you that the deep state is going to burn. And I always keep Assange in the back of your head. Always keep him in the back of your head, because they are going to, I'm telling you, Assange is going to be the trump card. When there's literally nothing left of the Dems, they're going to drop Assange and be like, we know Seth Rich gave this to me. It wasn't the Russians. So who's going to pay for all this? Who's going to pay for the smear campaign? Who's going to pay for the smear campaign on Russia? Because you think Russia's happy about this? They got blamed for something they had nothing to do with. And it's just going to be crazy, absolutely crazy to see. So just one last point of that. We'll get into the Q drops, and we're going to get into more Soros here and Antifa. Ivan Pachenkov said Senator Chuck Grassley's statement on Flynn Kislyak transcripts. This is Chuck Grassley. His own opinion on what his summary of the transcripts that he read said, Lieutenant General Flynn, his legal team, the judge, and the American people can now see with their own eyes for the first time that all the innuendo about Lieutenant General Flynn this whole time was totally bunk. There was nothing improper about his call, and the FBI knew it. Flynn was an ambassador. He was a go-between man. He's also a general. He's a military man. He's about getting shit done. He was being used to calm the waters between America and Russia, and they wanted to get on the same page. And if you read the transcripts, Kislyak is saying, hey, me and us, you guys, America and Russia, we're not going to agree on everything. And Flynn's like, I know, we're good on that. We're okay with that. But we don't need to have these tensions. We don't need to have tit for tat. We don't need all the arguing and squabbling over small things. Let's have a sense of coming together again. Let's take out ISIS. Let's start there. And then we can ease our tensions that we have with each other. Let cooler heads prevail. And this is exactly what Obama was saying, that this was the collusion, because they never thought these transcripts were going to get declassified. And now they are, and now the world is seeing. And it's so good to see, guys. All of our work is paying off. Let's get into the Q drop, shall we? So let's go here. Where are the ones that we want to start with? This is just, yes, yesterday. Mainstream media, 43-48. Mainstream media has lost control of the narrative. We are the news now. We know they lost control because we now have a race war that they love to fuel. So it says, Q says, fear, panic, loss of narrative control. You are the news now. And look what articles they link. This is from New York Times Politics. The internet has connected us in ways unimaginable, but the QAnon community, united in the belief that the world is run by a criminal elite, shows the danger of that power. Listen to The Rabbit Hole with Kevin Roos. And when you get into the article, I'm not even going to get into it. I've never seen this before. They paint us as being a church, cult-like. Now they've been called a cult, but I've never seen an article paint the Q movement as a church of QAnon. And it says where Jesus helps fight the deep state. I'm not even going into the article because it's complete trash. But again, Q is pointing out they have lost the narrative. We are the news now. And we're seeing it play out, and it's great to see. 43-49. George Soros, destroying America will be the culmination of my life's work. And this is a quote here from Soros himself from AZ Quotes. And Q says, nobody escapes this, Q. And there is another Q drop that says, it's earlier, that they have a special place for Soros. And me and my friends have been trying to figure out and talk what that special place might be. Obviously, a lot of people think it's Gitmo. Some people think it's just hell. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see, because if Soros goes down first, I don't think he's coming to America. He ain't coming to America. I believe Russia's going to have their fun with him, because he is pissed off. He has used the entire world's resources and his own money, causing all these problems for all these different countries. I think it would be Russia where he would be going, but we'll have to see. Let's continue. 43-50. DNI Ratcliffe issues statement on declassification of Flynn transcripts, which I already showed you, and showed you the transcripts. Let's keep going. 43-51. Worth following Catherine Heritage for declass designations. And if you guys haven't, I'm just going to click it here for you so you can see it. Q just straight up linked her account. Catherine Heritage here is the gem at CBS News. She has been on top of all the declass, all the documents, everything going on with Flynn. Q is just saying, for future reference, future marker, go follow her account, because she is going to be breaking news that we're all going to want to see. So go follow her. 43-52. This is a screenshot here of Trump's tweet from July 27, 2019. And so let's read it. Consideration is being given to declaring Antifa the gutless radical left whack jobs who go around hitting only non-fighters people over the heads with baseball bats, a major organization of terror, along with MS-13 and others, would make it easier for police to do their job. And now there's a link here to, I believe, it just talks about the U.S. government counterinsurgency guide and what that all entails. Not going to go into all that, but the Q drop writes, irregular warfare, insurgency. Insurgency is the organized use of subversion and violence to seize, nullify, or challenge political control of a region. And that's exactly what's going on right now. As such, it is primarily a political struggle in which both sides use armed force to create space for their political, economic, and influence activities to be effective. Insurgency is not always conducted by a single group with a centralized military-style command structure, but may involve a complex matrix of different actors with various aims loosely connected in dynamic and non-hierarchical networks. To be successful, insurgencies require charismatic leadership, supporters, recruits, supplies, safe havens, and funding, often from illicit activities. Are you guys seeing the picture that's being painted here? An organized group that needs funding, recruiters, supporters, supplies, safe havens as in being democratic strongholds, democratic states, and funding. They only need the active support of a few enabling individuals, but the passive acquiescence of a large proportion of the contested population will give a higher probability of success. So this is what we're going to go back to that. This is why I'm saying here, when you're seeing Antifa, and you're also seeing Black Lives Matter, and you can't paint the whole movement as they're bad or they're just there to destroy, because they're not all bad. But you have some infiltrators like Antifa that are going in and piggybacking on the backs of Black Lives Matter, and they're just there to fuel the fire. They're not really there for any other reason except to destroy and for destruction, and it just pads the numbers. You see what I mean? So this is what Q is talking about. So this is the best achieved when the political cause of the insurgency has strong appeal, manipulating religious, tribal, or local identity to exploit common societal grievances or needs. Insurgents seek to gain control of populations through a combination of persuasion, subversion, and coercion while using guerrilla tactics to offset the strengths of government security forces. And look, that is textbook what is going on now. Their intent is usually to protract the struggle, exhaust the government, and win sufficient popular support to force capitulation or political accommodation. Consequently, insurgencies evolve through a series of stages through the progression, and outcome will be different in almost every case. So, location, cities, loss of control, democratic controlled, defined stand down, safe haven order. That's what we have now. Defined organized group, Antifa. Coordinated of organized and funded groups in decontrolled safe haven cities across the United States. Pre-knowledge to groups, which we know. Thank you for playing. Have a nice day. And cue links here. Let's see. Press releases going back here to August 1st of 2019, where Representative Jim Banks asked FBI to add Antifa to list of extremist ideologies, which would then be able to link them as a domestic terrorist organization. And this one from The Hill, talking about it as well, from that same
Senators
month.
Bill Cassidy and Ted Cruz have...
I hate The Hill. They'd start playing their stupid videos when you pull up their articles. 2 Republican senators introduced resolution to label Antifa as domestic terrorist. Now, this is where it's going. This is where it's going. And the next cue drop, we'll just get out of the way real quick. There was a misspelling here of warfare. And of course, everything is decoded, right? Q is just pointing out here that this warfare, it was misspelled unintentional on the move. So they just wanted to clarify that. But getting into what would happen here as far as naming Antifa a domestic terror group. 4354. Here's a picture of Antifa's flags. Anti-American, domestic terrorist, organized, fascist, extreme radicals, violent, POTUS action coming, Homeland Security, FBI, DOJ action coming. Investigations may lead to Democrat foreign support targets. This drop is huge, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason why is because the moment that Trump takes action on this group and labels them this organization, this lets law enforcement do what law enforcement needs to do and take these guys out. Right now, they're kind of handcuffed because they're not labeled an organization. They're just regular protesters. But we all know they're not. That's the label that they're given by the media. They're rioters, they're provocateurs, they're fascists, they're extremists, and they're anti-American. And they're just walking around our streets, destroying property and destroying people's lives. So they're saying Homeland Security, FBI, DOJ action are coming, and investigations may lead to Democrat foreign support targets. So what it's saying here is we're going to possibly find out who these targets were, who's recruiting them, where the money's coming from, where they're organized. And just to give you some context, there I saw on Twitter just about an hour ago, there's actual pamphlets and like check mark sheets of what these groups were handing out to their fellow rioters, telling them exactly. It was very organized as their plan of what they were trying to accomplish and everything. And this was seen. This is being seen all over the country. So who is behind this mass operation? We all think it's Soros, but we're going to find out. 4355. They want you divided. They want race wars. They want class wars. They want religious wars. They want political wars for God and country. Learn. Stay strong. Stay together. And guys, please, we have to get past blaming each other and ripping each other apart. There has been obviously a huge schism between African Americans and police, and a lot of their feelings are justified. We'll never take that away from them. But I just want to, hopefully, as a society, us as humans, to push past this media-driven bullshit and just start to. We need to come together. Divided we fall, and that's the oldest play in the book, right? Divide and conquer, and that's what Q is pointing out to us. And last drop, 4356. It says humanity is at its finest. And let's end on a positive note. We go to the tweet here. An army of volunteers in Minneapolis helping neighbors clean up business damage. Bring a broom, they were told. What a sight. Now, I want you guys just to, I'll mute it so you don't have to hear it. I'll keep playing it. You are seeing here, these are these people are the ones that live in this community. Look how many of these people are. Do you think these people are out rioting? There's kids here literally with sand shovels, and what they're doing is they're pushing water out of this building. They're cleaning up the garbage. Everybody has a broom. There's literally kids, women, children, men, of all ages cleaning this. Do you think these people are the ones rioting? The ones that we were being told the people of these cities are destroying their own cities? It just doesn't add up, and nothing makes sense. And Q just wanted to add this here, 4356, humanity at its finest. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we need to strive for. Coming together, fixing our problems together, not being divided. And that's where I'm going to end off today. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for joining the episode today. Like, share, comment, subscribe, go to the YouTube channel, and just tell everybody about it. We are the news now. Go to my Patreon, my store. All the links are in there. You guys can purchase some shirts, all my links for the podcasting there and all that. So it's all there. So thank you guys so much for everything. It's been a pleasure. We're going to stay on top of this as much as possible because we know the content is just flowing. It never ends. There's always something every day. So check out my sponsor as always. Check that link in the description below. And if you guys want to make a one-time donation to the show, the PayPal link is there as well. So thank you. Love you all. It's going to be a great week, and we'll have to see what happens. And until then, stay woke.